It's going to be just the two of us today. Vic's driving, and
Oh,
actually, I asked Mark to take over last night, and he called me, and you know, he said he was agonizing over it. He just asked he was going to not come today. He said the awful timing was horrible because he has so much yard work to do because he's been working 6 days a week and just doesn't have time to take care of things. And I said, man, it's okay. I mean, if I start coughing and hacking, I'm going to just mute my mic, turn my camera off. I'll tell the guys ahead of time.
right.
You know, I mean, it's these guys, and we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we're gonna talk to Vic. Hey, Phil, how's it going, man?
I'm good. Yeah. How are you?
Doing well.
How you
Yes.
doing?
Looking forward to hanging out with you and Kirk and Seb.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be fun. So Seb's Polish, so you'll have to watch his accent. Sometimes he goes off on one, but he's good. He's all right.
Oh, that's fine. I'm sure our accents are pretty funny, to you guys. So it's all good, man.
Yeah. To be fair, Seb's English is probably better than ours. So
So's ours. It's okay. We're all in the same boat here,
Yeah. And the metal dogs are joining us. So
Nice.
that's Titch the metal hound, isn't it?
Nice.
Hey? So yeah, they'll pop in and pop out every now and again. So
that's fine. Good. Sounds good to me. Well, I'll say hi to the other guys. Seb, nice to meet you. And Kirk, I know you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. And Kirk, I know you got throat surgery, so I know we're not going to be talking a whole lot, but it's nice to meet you both.
Nice to meet you too.
All right. Well, I guess we will do our lovely intro, and then we'll get right into it. Now, I'm dealing with a nasty upper respiratory infection, so if there's times where I gotta like cough and stuff, I'll mute my mic and get myself off the screen, and then so you don't have to see my ugliness and me blowing my nose everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, no, this is good. I'm excited, and we're just gonna have a good time, man.
yeah, excellent.
All right, so here we go.
Hi, this is Steve Grimmett from Steve Grimmett's Grim Reaper, and you're listening to Heavy Metal Horror. See you in hell.
I am Montag, master of illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always.
Hey, this is ChopTop, and this is the ultimate exit interview. Stay heavy.
And you are watching and listening to Heavy Metal Horror. Oh, kiddies, we've got a special import tonight. We've got the band Exit Out from the UK. All right, I got Phil and Kirk and Seb. Welcome to Heavy Metal Horror, guys.
What's up, guys?
This is great. I think it's the first time we've ever had three people from the same band doing an interview, so this is pretty exciting for us.
Yeah, it's usually quite hard to get bass player, I guess. But
those bass players are kind of tricky, man. I've always had problems with bass players in the bands that I was in. I don't know what is up with that.
Yeah, that's why I decided I have to play bass as well as sing.
It's like the problem with drummers with Spinal Tap,
That's right. Yeah, they're looking for a new drummer. So if you know someone, because they're doing a sequel. So
Yeah. Excited about that.
yeah, it'd be awesome. Better get a good life insurance policy. That's all I gotta say. All right, well, I guess we'll start. And any of you guys can chime in as you want to as you want. I don't want to have to call back and forth, but as you want to chime in, I guess we could just start with some broad questions. Like, when did you first get into music?
Right. Well, I
go ahead, Phil.
say for me, I think I'm I don't know. Kurt might be older than me, but I mean, he looks older than me, but he might be older than me. I don't know. But I got into music when I was about 10. So my old man was a massive Clapton fan. And played me White Room. I remember the that first sort of chord progression, that big power chord G minor hitting me in the chest. I remember turning to him and saying, I want a Strat. And that was it. You know, that was me hooked then. So, and in fact, I've still got that Strat here. So, you know, it's, yeah, that for me, I was just hooked on guitar, and even more so now on guitar. I'm probably the ultimate guitar geek now, but yeah, that was it for me. And then obviously in the 90s, Pearl Jam, you know, we had that infamous month, you know, with Pearl Jam and Soundgarden, Nirvana, all those, and that's when I sort of drifted towards the heavier side, and then Pantera and everything else, you know, and yeah, it was cool. So it was a cool time in music. Very cool.
Excellent. How about you, Seb?
I started from the earliest age, really. My dad always played guitar, so I would be singing blues with him. And, you know, my nan would always be very angry at him because he taught me all these lyrics, which weren't great for a 5-year-old to sing. You know, about woman.
That's when you know they're good. You know?
Yeah, now I know. Then I just love the music. I love the blues. And then later on, when I was a teenager, I just always wanted to make music, whatever it was. And then I started my first band when I was, I think, 15 or 14. Yeah, started from there. Just 3 chords and lots of shouting.
I mean, isn't that the foundation of like most rock?
Yeah.
You know, 3 good chords and shouting, you know? I mean, AC/DC's made a living of that for the last, 50 years. So,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
they're doing something all right. You know?
I think Machine Gun Kelly seems to be making a living off that in a minute. So
Yet another embarrassment for Cleveland. We live near Cleveland. So, I mean, close enough to be embarrassed by most of what they do. You know, it just rubs off. But from the
Hall of
rock
Shame.
and roll, yeah, Hall of
The whole
Shame,
shame. Yeah.
you know. Right. No, I get it. Kirk, do you feel like talking about this, or you want to save your voice?
No, I'll jump in if you can hear me. Yeah, early age. I think I'm the oldest out the band at the moment. Parents always into metal, early Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, all the classical stuff, shall we say? I think it really turned for me for Iron Maiden, them kind of bands, and Iron Maiden, Wasp.
Sorry, I couldn't find that speaker.
And that's when I really started buying my own records and doing my own thing. I started playing guitar at the age of 13, I think it was, the bedroom band. As soon as I hit my teenage years, I got into a few bands with local kids, playing some local gigs. And then probably hit the height of my career, really. I was playing bass for Broken Bones, you may have. And I know the Discharge lads who made some classic punk albums, so I had a kind of good introduction to music, and it's gone on from there, really.
Nice, excellent. So your band, Exit Out, is the grunge band. What attracts you guys to that grunge as a genre?
For me, I mean, like I said, one of my favorite bands, well, still probably even now, it's probably still my favorite band, was Pearl Jam. And it was just the way that they had that, they had 2 really distinct guitar sounds always for me. They had the, you know, like, I suppose Stone tended to use like a Les Paul or something like that. So you had that nice, thick sort of rhythm tone. Then you got that sort of clarity of that Strat kicking through. And I always love the fact that there was a Strat in a heavy band, you know, for me, that, you know, that was, and then, you know, Vedder's voice is just insane, you know. I think him and Cornell to this day have still got the best singing voice that have ever graced this planet for me, you know. And the fact that they sang together in a band that didn't do very well was it's a bit unfortunate, really. But yeah, I mean, that was it for me. And it was just, I think for me, because I was a teenager at that time as well, and obviously a lot of the lyrics that came out in those songs as well were really kind of, you know, they were really angsty. They were sort of, you could relate to them in different ways as a kid or as a youngster, certainly. You know, and I've got a 16-year-old now, and he's into his Pearl Jam and all this as well. And you can see that he can relate to that stuff as well. yeah, it's kind of funny to see, but that for me that was it. You know, it was a sort of it was the messages that they were putting across with kind of almost like an aggressive music rather than I'd heard a lot of Bob Dylan before that, and obviously you know he delivered a lot of message in his, but it was very differently. It was delivered in a very different way, you know, and that really it was really attractive to me. That.
What about you, Seb?
For me, it was always the vocals and lyrics. So, as Phil mentioned, the vocalist and big four, you know, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, were all brilliant vocalists, and they were all very different, but at the same time, just great. And yeah, that was just, I was just sold.
Mhm.
And then trying to create something of my own songs usually sounded, I was told that they sound big grungy. So naturally, I kind of gravitate to that genre.
Excellent. And Kirk.
I'm probably the odd one out. I'm not that much of a grunge fan, really. I like the heavier side of grunge. I like my thrash metal and my kind of aggressive punk, my hardcore, the American hardcore kind of punk. I love Nirvana when they came out, and Smashing Pumpkins. Pearl Jam took me a while. I was really on the back end with Pearl Jam. I loved the first two albums, but I think that's it for me. Alice in Chains and all the other bands I don't overly listen to, if I'm going to be honest. But I quickly went off the kind of new wave of British heavy metal type music, and I like more of the punk edge. And then I think the grunge thing for me was a good crossover, and I think that's probably what's got me into it. And I was surprised that when I was writing the songs, they kind of went that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. You and ChopTop and I Kirk, are all in that new wave of British heavy metal. That's kind of where we were in our teens, or that sweet spot for us. And we were a little older when grunge hit. You know, we were in our 20s when grunge hit the States and kind of changed metal in America anyway. The face of metal, you know, it kind of basically eradicated any pop metal, hair metal, glam, all that stuff just quickly got lost, only after a couple of years, and then was replaced by, you know, a lot of grunge bands. And it's kind of that classic metal sound is kind of slowly trickled back, I think, in the last decade, but it's taken quite a while to get there.
Yeah, I think that I actually think weirdly that Trivium had quite a lot to do with that. Actually,
Yeah.
I think because they were like almost like Metallica back in the heyday.
They're
And
heavy.
then,
Yeah, we saw them
you know,
open for Maiden. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously when you brought out when Death Magnetic came out, for me that was because I love Metallica. You know, I love the early stuff, Metallica, Black Album, Master of Puppets, that type of stuff. And then I think when Death Magnetic came out, it was like, okay, they're back here. You know, this is you know, and I went to watch that tour twice actually, and I was just like, yeah, this is this is it back. But going back to the grunge thing, I think there's one band really that we need to give a mention to and didn't is Stone Temple Pilots, because
Okay.
I think that I know we lost Scott, you know, but I think his voice was just insane. I mean, that guy had serious lungs. You know, it was. If you watch that especially the unplugged, if you watch the unplugged version, that was just incredible. That yeah, I didn't. And apart from when him and Better were singing like that at the time, because it took me a while to get to Soundgarden actually, but I didn't know people could sing like that. I didn't. It's Stone Temple Pilots as well. I think were just awesome. But I personally, I think, and this is probably going to prove quite contentious to your listeners, but and it became quite a big thing quickly. It was kind of one of my first proper bands. This was because I've played in blues bands and all sorts of stuff like quite a wide range of influences. I listen to a really wide range of music, but I think that new metal had a really big influence on the way that metal today has gone. Like people like Wes Borland and people like that who are using those super down-tuned riffs and like almost like a really quite clean tone. You know, like half it was really dirty and the other half was really clean. I think that's really influenced like bands like, and they might not want to admit it, but bands like Polyphia now and stuff like that. I think all that stemmed from new metal for me. I think.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Right, it's a good connection. Um, being in a band and playing out like you do, have any of you had a chance to meet any of your musical heroes? And if so, who?
Do you want to go, Seb?
I have, but no one will know them.
That's fine. Who are your heroes? Who are some of your heroes?
Basically, I'm from Poland. I've been I go there sometimes as well. There's a big festival called Woodstock. It's not called that anymore because some rights to the name or something like that. It's now called Poland Rock. I went there, I think it was 7 years ago, and had a chance to meet a guy who basically created a band from nothing in early 2000s, and now he's like one of the biggest metal personality in Poland. And I was lucky enough to sing a little bit on the big stage as well with him. So I sang to about 300,000 people.
That's a big stage, yeah.
Which is quite cool.
Small crowd. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was me. I haven't had a chance to meet anyone who you might know. But
So what did that feel like to sing in front of all those people?
oh, it was insane. It was something different, something I want to repeat. I want to see. So I just want to do it again. That's why I'm in a band.
Right. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's great. That's great. Phil, Kirk, have you had a chance to meet anyone?
I think one of my favourite bands. One of my favourite bands are Bad Religion from America. And whilst we didn't support them, friends of mine did, so we managed to hang out with them quite a bit in the on the Against the Grain tour. So that was really fun being backstage with them and some of the other bands. Obviously, there's Tony and Tez from Discharge, and Tez was in Ministry, and and I'm good friends with them. So it's not like I've got to go and meet them, but it's really great to have people who've influenced music so much as part of my life. And recently I met Gary Holt from Slayer.
Oh, nice.
And just as a signing in a guitar show where we went down, we had tickets to meet and greet him. And I had the chance to go and play Gary's guitar and jam with Frank Bello, and I completely bottled it. And I just didn't do it. And instead, a 15-year-old kid got up and did a better job. So that was all good.
Now that's why you got the throat surgery, to compete with the 15-year-olds.
That's it.
I get it. Excellent. Okay, that's a good plan, man. It's a good plan. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, we'd love to get Gary on. And like we have, some of the people we've had on the show, they're like, oh yeah, Gary, I'm friends with this guy. I'm like, send him our way, But I know they're busy on tour. A lot of bands are getting out on the road again, which is nice. And they're playing with was it Testament and
Death Angel.
Death Angel and Exodus are all playing together. So that's a triple bill.
Testament is Alex Skolnick's band, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
and Dave Lombardo's back playing drums for Testament. So
Yeah.
which I hope they do some recording, because I think The Gathering is one of their best albums. It's just so ferocious, man. Insane.
Cool.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about your creativity. I know you do put out original music, and I listened to the one album I found on YouTube. I got a chance to listen to it. So let's talk about your creative process, like when writing. So whoever do all contribute to the songwriting of the band, or is it primarily one or two of you, or how does that process work?
It's evolving, that I think. So Kirk and Seb, right? So basically, this is the way that it kind of happened with my involvement in the band. I can certainly say this. So Kirk and Seb, I think I'm right in saying, if I'm wrong, guys, just put in. But I think that they got together, they started writing the first album together, and then they were looking for a guitarist, and I joined. We had a few rehearsals, and I didn't have time for it at the time. So I just, me and Kirk stayed mates, and, and me and Seb didn't talk at that time because, it was the connection with me and Kirk really. Me and Kirk ended up playing some other Daft Band together. And then they had another guitarist in who just couldn't make gigs. And Kirk sent me a message with with literally about 2 days before a gig and said, "Phil, you mind filling in for us?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "When's the gig?" And he said, "Oh, it's it's 2 or 3 days." And I was like, "Right, so I'm gonna learn all these songs." So I was like, "Yeah." So I went up to Kirk's, learned the songs dead quick, and over the next couple of days learned them and then gigged with them. So that was it for me. But I've not had any writing input as of yet per se. However, with the new stuff that we're writing now, like Kirk and Seb are putting down the main bits, and I'm going to go and add some leading after this, and then see where we go from there. So there'll be a little bit more of a varied lead lines, I think, than what there have been on the previous record, I think. But I might be wrong. So Kirk will probably, wherever Kirk is, if he's that way, this way, I don't know, but he'll be able to answer that better than me. So it's like a weird Brady bunch, isn't it? But
he's close. He's close. So I started writing songs for Swimming, the album, and we didn't have a singer. I didn't have Seb, and I had some people playing with me originally, and they just weren't working out, and they weren't on the same page as me at all. So I pretty much wrote most of the album myself, and then started writing lyrics, something I'd never done before. Advertised for a singer, and Seb was one of hell of a lot of people who kind of come forward. But he sang to the first song on the album, "I'm Only You," and Seb sent a demo back of him singing the song, and it literally sang all the lyrics in all the wrong places, but it sounded absolutely killer. And it was like, he's the man for the band. And then it was 3/4 written, but you can tell the songs that Seb's influenced on, because when he started to write some lyrics the way he wanted to sing them, you can tell the difference in the songs, like "Stay Here" and "Swim Song" in particular, like really stand out. So moving forward, it's going to be more of a joint effort, and I'm really looking forward to album 2.
Excellent.
Cool.
Which of your songs, you're still kind of new in the process. So you have, how many albums you have out? You have the one, you have two, second in the works then?
There was an EP too, wasn't there?
We did 2 singles. That was before Seb joined, and we just did a cover of Nirvana's "Something in the Way," which was for.
Okay. Oh, right, I did hear that one too. Yeah, it was a good cover.
That was just a friend of mine. His son was terminally ill, and they were putting an all-day show on, all the local bands, and I wasn't in a position to play because I didn't have a full band formed at the time. So we recorded "Something in the Way" and sold it as a CD single, just to add some money to the fund. And "Hey Slinger," which was the first song, which I didn't particularly write. It was the old guys, so you can tell the difference with that song. It's completely different. And then I wrote songs for Swimming, album 1, and pretty much I've got about 20 songs waiting for album 2 at the moment, 7 of which are absolutely killer, absolutely amazing songs, and the next 3 I'm sure are going to be just as good, but we'll get out as soon as possible.
Nice.
Yeah, I think the new stuff's along the slightly. It's a little different to album 1. I think this one is kind of it's evolved a little bit. This one, and it's a little bit more. I know. I think each song's a bit more different. So for me, the stuff that I've heard from album 2 that we're working on now is definitely different to album 1. I'm sure album 3 will be different again. As we continue. I think as we probably continue to work together and get to know each other and know what each other's like. I think, like I'm desperately trying to get Kurt to do some a little bit more down-tuned stuff. I mean, he's resisting like crazy, but we'll get there in the end. But so, but yeah, but like Seb, like Kirk says, like Seb's voice just fits what we do, And he's got, I won't ever tell him this in person, but he's got a decent voice, Seb. So.
Well, that's good. There you go. Yeah, you want to save those things. You don't ever want to sell those people, good
No,
things. Compliment
no.
them. Their egos.
Yeah,
That's why
especially vocalists, their egos are awful.
Yeah, they have
I'm
to
a
be in front. Look at
fuse.
me. I'm in the front. Yeah.
That's why they make me play bass as well, because it's like evens out.
Yeah, and we give you
Yeah.
a stand-up bass. So you have something to hide behind, right? You got something that stands in front of you. No,
I
I
could
Yeah,
know.
bring it down to size there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's we tend to do in this show with each other. We just make sure
Yeah.
we chop each
You
other
break
down.
each other down.
Yeah. No egos here.
Trust me, there's no instrument in the world I can hide behind.
There you go. Spoken like a true vocalist. There we go. Excellent. Well, that's what a good front man's supposed to do, right? So let's talk a little bit about touring and playing live. And so what is it? What do you like most about playing live? As a band or as individual members, as opposed to recording.
Yeah, I like just being on the stage. I'm actually quite an introvert, so I'm not very people person. But somehow when I'm on the stage, I feel it's different, and I like performing. I like singing. I like making some noise, and it's good to have some response from people. Having a blast with us, like we playing and they having fun, and it's amazing. It's also, as Kirk mentioned, playing for charities and stuff like that, trying to help people. It's nice that we have opportunity to do that and have fun with it.
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the most important thing, having fun,
Exactly. Right. That's why we do this show. We're having fun, and and if you get a chance to help people, that's a good feeling. That's a whole thing into itself. So kudos to you.
Yeah, for me, it's about playing music with mates. Like I'm in a covers band as well as this. We're good mates. But it's. I mean, this is different type of music. But yeah, it's about playing with mates. Like me and Kurt get on really. And I'm not saying this.
He's not in person, so you could talk about him. It's okay.
Yeah, no. Like we all get on really, really well. We have a good laugh. We have a good relationship. We rip the hell out of each other, and that's the way that it should be. So, and to be fair, we've actually supported some in the last couple of gigs. We've supported some quite good bands. To be fair, I do have a bugbear about this. If you're a main band and you're watching this, if you've got a support band who comes and plays for you free, say fucking thank you to them. It honestly, the amount of big bands that you play for that are up their own arse, it's just like, oh, come on, just be nice, just be nice. But anyway, if it was me, I'd go out and say thanks very much, blah, blah, but it is what it is. But
how much does that really take? Doesn't take any effort at all to be thankful, right?
None whatsoever. So,
do you think they don't know who's supporting them? I mean, I know when we used to go to shows back before the plague, often the headliner, there was like 5 or 6 bands in front of them, and they often wouldn't see the stage until 11 o'clock at night or midnight or something.
Yeah.
And especially on the smaller clubs around here. And I wonder if those opening acts and knowing people who were in opening acts, they didn't have access to the band. And so I'm wondering sometimes if the promoter puts on more bands than the main band even knows. Like they have their supporters, and there's usually like a couple local.
I'm sure that happens. Yeah, I'm sure. We did have a funny incident more recently, which I know that Kurt won't mind me saying, but it was quite funny. We supported a band who were a big tribute band, and they came on and said, "Thanks very much, Evil Out." We were like, "Who's Evil Out?"
They missed it by that much. They got it close.
Yeah, I just saw steam coming out of Kirk's ears at that point. It was very funny. So.
At least they said thanks, though, so that was nice. It was nice.
It could have been worse. It could have been like In and Out or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, made that Clockwork Orange reference, the old in out, in out. That could have been bad. So you've been opening for these other bands. Are these like local gigs, or are you able to like play, go to Europe and play any kind of festivals in these opening slots, or, what kind of shows have you been doing?
Yeah, we're very educated shows at the moment. Obviously, we're always on the lookout. We just played with Vampires Everywhere, and they're doing well in America, and Unto Others, again, who've just opened for Behemoth in America, I believe. So we've just played with both of them two bands, amongst others. But we're just on the lookout for whatever we can get. Really, at the moment, it's quite hard in the UK at the moment. Unless you're a very, very well-known band, it's difficult. There's so many bands competing for opening slots at the moment. And going back to the playing live thing, for me, I kind of go into my own little zone, my own little world, especially with Exit Out, because I've wrote the songs and I put so much passion into it that, playing my own music, it was different than just playing bass or guitar for another band. It just really means a lot to me. To be able to get my music out there for people.
Nice, that's good. So when you have a gig, when you're getting ready to play, do you have any like pre-show rituals that you guys like to do as a band or individually? Kind of get yourselves in the right mindset to be playing?
We've already got the one, and that's to get Jack behind the drums.
I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Our drummer, if you're not aware, is very partially sighted. He's probably something like 80% blind. So it's in a venue where it's dark, he can't see. So we have to get him there. Really, we have to get him behind the drums without people noticing, and get set up. Really, that's our ritual.
Okay, that's a great ritual. I mean, it's important. As someone who's played drums for most of my life, it's important. The drummer is the most important person in the band. So no, I get it, man. That's great. So when you are playing or after a show, what's your favorite food to eat? Like a celebratory food when you're done with a gig.
I've got to admit, I'm quite a typical Englishman in this, whereas I won't eat no English food whatsoever towards the end of the gig. So it'll have to be either pizza or Chinese food or something like that. It depends where we play, to be fair, because where Seb lives, I mean, for English people, this is like quite a long distance away, but it's not for Americans. We know it's not. But Seb's about an hour away from me. Seb, you reckon about an hour?
Yeah, probably an hour and a half, maybe.
So if we play near Seb, then there's a really great choice of restaurants because it's a bigger city than mine. But yeah, it's always just really awful takeaways. Stuff that you can feel for the next 3 days. I think that's the key to any good gig is if you can still feel the food for 3 days after. It's a good one.
Nice. How about you, Seb?
I don't have anything special to eat. I like to celebrate a good gig with a nice drink, and I celebrate every day with a nice drink.
There you go.
No, but in all honesty, I don't know. Yeah, as Phil said, just something fatty and a nice cold drink, and I'm happy chappy.
Kirk.
Well, favorite foods are red hot curry, so red hot Indian curry would be my choice. But
nice. Yeah, after a show, not before a show.
No, it's normally a quick kebab, if I'm going to be honest. But if we can get them in the curry house, that suits me.
Yeah, we love Indian food. We have a couple places around here, and there's just something about the complexity of flavors that's amazing.
I'm with you on that.
Oh yeah. So Seb, how do you take care of your voice when you're singing? We often talk to when we have singers on show and they're going on tours and stuff like that. They have, we ask about this. So as a singer, what do you do to keep your voice as good as it can be between shows?
A warm up and daily practice. And a lot of people say, well, it's metal, it's rock. You don't do your scales and all that. But I wasn't doing that when I was younger, and I really felt it every show. After the show, I would just be, and then a few years ago, I started really taking care of it and doing it takes 20 minutes a day, and then it takes an hour on the day of the gig, and do it properly. And that's it really. I don't do like special drinks or special foods or whatever. I don't just drink water on the day or something like that. It just doesn't do anything to me. I tried that. So yeah, it's just doing a little bit of warm up.
Excellent. Do you have any outrageous road stories, like something that just crazy happened to you, or were you around other things that we love road stories? So, anything outrageous that you could share with us?
I don't have any with Exit Out, but I do have quite a funny one. Whereas we were playing in my other band, we were playing this. Well, sorry, it was not my other band that I'm in now. Actually, it was another band. But we were playing a gig, and there was this couple just sort of sat by the side, and this woman just walked up with a bottle and just smashed it around the side of his head, and then just sat down talking to the woman like nothing happened. Like absolutely cleaned this guy out. He was on the floor, so like, flat out. Started speaking to this other woman. And at the end, I'm like, no, we're all going like playing, going, do we carry on or just carried on? And then it turned out that the guy was having an affair with that woman, and they were friends, and they decided that he wasn't worth it, so they carried on sort of having this night while this guy was cleaned out and got dragged outside. So that was quite funny, but in a weird, quite a weird way. But yeah, so that was welcome to England,
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good story.
Yeah, it's very quaint in England.
Yeah, I had a bottle thrown at me once when I was playing in one of my college bands. We were opening for a punk band called The Stain, and they brought their own skinheads with them. And I remember distinctly, it's like in slow motion. I'm seeing in the light the shadow of this tumbling bottle. And I'm thinking, oh, that's a beer bottle. That's going to hit my head. And I just ducked, and it went and almost hit our drummer. And then I took my guitar off and I swung it like a baseball bat or cricket bat, and I hit the guy really hard, right in the stomach, and took him down. And then the owners came out, the bouncers came out, and they maced all the skinheads and they kicked them out. And then got back up on the stage, and we finished our set. That was kind of well, hey. We got interrupted. It was only fair. The people wanted to hear my brilliant song, Of course,
yeah.
Didn't want to slight them.
Don't give Kirk any ideas, all right? Yeah.
Give Kirk the ideas.
Nice. We're going to start buying some breakaway bottles.
Go on.
Some of those ones that you use for movie props. They're made out of sugar.
Sugar.
Nice.
That's good. Yeah, it's worth thinking about.
Yeah. Do you have any idea like what song? Oh, did you have a story you want to share?
I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but when I was
hang on, guys. Sorry.
When I was 17, I was playing one of my first gigs back in Poland, and was driving there, 2 cars. Me and my 2 mates, which were the band, was driving with the only guy who had a driving license out of 3 of us. And he was like, he had the driving license for maybe a week or 2. And behind us, there was the drummer's dad with all the equipment and all that. By the massive truck, like massive truck. We got beeped at, and he quickly went away. And the dad that was behind us actually told the drummer, which was his kid, he is banned from ever traveling with that kid again, because that was it. And then every time I went to a gig, I would take a ride with the guy who had the driving license, and the driver would have to go with his dad. So
Safety first.
yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. Don't give
Right.
driving license to 17-year-olds.
No. We haven't 16 here in the States. That's way too young.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to change gears here a little bit. And speaking of gears, there's my segue to let's talk about what kind of gear you like to use. Do you have any specific gear that you prefer to use? Phil?
So I mean, exit out gigs recently. I've been using a Gordon guitar. I always use Hayden heads. I don't know if you know Hayden. They were Ashdown came out with Hayden a few years back. They were an absolute soaring disaster, but the Hayden heads were actually really, really good. So I've got a couple of them that I use, and I love the dirty tone on that. I'll generally just use a boost button. I use a boost pedal. I use a little bit of a wah. Sometimes, in true metal style, I'll stick a tube screamer over the top of that just to give it a little bit extra. But I use my own guitar as well, so I've just started my own guitar brand. So called North Guitars. So, and we do our own designs. So this one weirdly is for a good friend of mine who some of your guys might know. There's a guy called Mike McLaughlin. He's in a band called Party Cannon, which are like a really good big slam metal band from the UK. And Mike's a really good mate of mine, so we kind of designed a guitar, like a multi-scale guitar together. So
Nice.
yeah, so that's going to be on. They're going to be on sale soon. So I don't know if you want me to plug the website.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I was going to ask you because about your guitar brand, and I was going to ask you how you got into making guitars.
So like I said, I've always been a geek. During lockdown, I got really sick for like 9 months, like really, really sick. Not with COVID, weirdly, but when we came out the back end of it, I got speaking to a luthier friend of mine, showed him some plans that I had for a guitar, which is over there actually, but a guitar, and it had a sort of we'd worked out a way to route it out, especially so it sounded like a hollow body, but only fed back like a solid body, which is, if you like a Gibson 330 or something like that, you stand in front of an amp with any sort of gain, and it just screams. I've played metal, punk, everything on this thing, and it's fine. So we just decided to do it, and we launched them last week, actually. At an expo last week. Yeah, but they're all our own signs, and they're gonna be on the new record coming up, definitely for sure. Hopefully this one, that designed for Mike. Mike's actually sponsored by a company called Ormsby Guitars, which a lot of people probably know. Ormsby are made by such a cool guy in Australia called Perry, who makes some amazing 90% of them are like multi-scales, but they're just wicked, But Party Cannon play really low tunings and really, really heavy. So that's why the multi-scale comes into it. But for Exit Out, we normally play an E standard. So I can use pretty much any scale guitar that I want. But so my sound generally, and I think Kirk could probably agree with this, my sound's probably a little bit more of the classic sound. So mine's going back to more the Pearl Jam type grunge. So I'll use gains, but it won't sound like a Hetfield type EMG type thing. Mine will be more of a bit more of an organic sound. And I like using tube amps, for that reason. I like feeling the air coming past me. But as far as that goes, I've got a massive pedal board with about 18 pedals on. I ever used to when I play for you guys.
Like Don Dokken. Yeah, I saw Dokken back in the day, and he had a massive board. I mean, it's pedals all over the place.
Oh, George Lynch.
Yeah, George Lynch. Yeah, from Dokken, right?
I mean, George Lynch was just a beast, wasn't he? Let's face it.
Yeah, way back in the day. So let me ask you something, Phil. Can you make us a flying V with the Heavy Metal Horror logo on it? What a great promotion, right?
I could definitely. Weirdly, I'm actually talking about. I want to make myself a flying V at some point, because I think the V is such an underrated guitar. Like people, you know, I grew up on a Strat first of all, you know, but I love tellies, you know, and I think those early sort of Fenders were just pretty much perfect. You know, they were hard to beat. You know, and the Les Paul is an amazing sounding guitar, but it has its issues. You know, getting up to the top frets is difficult. You know, it's people complain it's heavy. You know, you do it in pounds, don't you? I'm like a 220-pound guy, so I'm not that bothered about. I'm not bothered about weight. You know.
Yeah, you did describe yourself as a fat Jesus to me. So yeah.
So
there
yes,
you go.
so you know, for me, that, you know, they have a thing. But in like 1958, after years of sort of having like guitars like this, give me 1 second. So yeah, you had years of guitars like this. You know, this is the first one that I made, by the way. So they had years of guitars like this, and then in 1958 they bring out the Explorer, and they bring out the Flying V. I mean,
Radically great designs.
Those,
those are two of the best guitar designs, I think, on the planet. The Explorer and the Flying V.
Wildly, they were wildly unpopular at the time, but there's just something about a Flying V for me. It's got its own sound. You know, there's a friend of mine he owns a guitar shop just literally a mile from me here, and he's got this old V, and it's just there's nothing sounds like that, you know. And I love SGs for that. I love SG Juniors especially, and I think the SG actually is the guitar that Gibson's best solid body guitar for me, and I'm going to throw that out there. But it's just so versatile and it's so easy to play. The neck dives, but it is what it is. But no, so for me, when I started making guitars, I just wanted to make guitars that I suppose had all the qualities of guitars that I love, but at the same time looked a little bit individual and took away some of the qualities that I didn't like so much. You know, so upper neck access, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to take the guitars around to Kirk's next time I see you. You've seen a couple, haven't you, Kirk?
Yeah, I've seen most of them, I think, mate.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I mean that's the gear that I use. Kirk uses slightly more heavy stuff than me, don't you, mate?
My ideal sound is Trev from Obituary, and I want to get that death metal nasty sound. At the moment, I just use an orange head and a Line 6 Firehawk pedal board. I don't really ever change the settings they're on. I've downloaded the Obituary setting, pumped that into the Firehawk, and that's where he sits, really.
Line 6 is fantastic for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great lineup for that.
Guitar-wise, I've had many guitars throughout my life. I settled on Ibanez's. I think they are the ultimate super strat guitar. The gain on and the pickups, everything about them is just fantastic, especially the high-end models. But saying that, I've recently switched to the LTD ESPs, the EC range. I take 2 of them around with me now for gigs, and they're my go-to guitar at the moment. And the Ibanez's are collecting a little bit of dust hanging on my walls. So that's where I'm at. Heavier the better.
All right.
Hey, I just want to interrupt you, Monte, but
yeah, sure.
If Phil, this offer's still open, you want to design a guitar for us, because we could use that for our contest. We're going to try to get people to name our demon, you know, for our logo. So that would be a great prize. Just saying, you know, you get an opportunity.
Just throwing it out there.
Just throwing it out there. I mean, you know, I have a
It ain't
flying
going to cost you nothing to make. Come on, who am I fooling, right? So.
Yeah, ChopTop's paying for it. Yeah.
I am? Yeah, I thought we were going to.
I'll tell you what, I'll do
your generosity.
I'll give you a deal now. If I get 5 sales off this podcast, I'll do you one for free. There you go.
All right, that sounds good. And what's the name of the website?
It's www.northguitars.co.uk.
All right, 5 kids, only 5 sales, and we get a free guitar. Come on.
Yeah, I'll do that for you.
Show your love for your heavy metal horror host.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. There's our shameless plug. We got more coming later. Don't worry. we're gonna change gears yet again, and we're gonna do some hypothetical situations. We've talked about your background and gear and like that, and one thing we like to do on heavy metal horror is have questions that are different than probably most rock celebrities get in their normal course of the day. So, and this is also another way for us to get to know them better and for them to have fun. So we're going to start with a one hypothetical question here. Is you are on a desert island. What 5 bands' discographies do you want with you? So we'll start with Seb. Seb, what 5 bands are you taking with you on your desert island?
To have something to listen to them, or
Of course.
I just
Sure.
look at
It's like a
them?
Gilligan's Island. You've got a
Okay.
CD player of some type, or some kind of device that will allow you to play, or a record player, vinyl.
5
The setup is there,
discography.
right?
Wow.
Well, straight away I would have to say Tool. Just because I love Tool, and it's one of my main influences, and also the albums are quite long, so I guess that's a good thing to have. It's not getting boring anytime.
You only need Tool then, because they're so long, their albums, so that'd be it. There's your 5 bands.
I'd say Metallica, because again, it's one of my all-time favorites. Even though I've been boycotting them since they did that thing with the Miley Cyrus.
And Lady Gaga.
Come on. God, I want to. I'd probably say Megadeth, and a couple of Polish bands, because there's some gems with the long discographies and really good old stuff like Jam or Budka Suflera, obviously, you know. So yeah, Tool, Metallica, Megadeth, Gem, Budka Suflera.
Excellent. How about you, Kirk?
Easy, this is Slayer, obviously. Greatest metal band of all time. Obituary, because they've never made a bad album. Absolutely fantastic. Bad Religion, my favorite skate punk band. Again, absolutely love the band. Biffy Clyro, I think they are the up and coming band. And I know that they've made it as such, but what a fantastic, amazing band. Where am I at? How many is that? 4?
That's 4, yeah.
Let's take probably Discharge. I don't need the first few albums. I don't need the latter ones, but just the perfect albums there. Perfect. That'll do me.
Nice. And Phil?
Oh, well, yeah, mine's going to seem quite out there now. So mine, Pearl Jam, got to be in there. I think they've actually just released some amazing stuff, sort of, but because they're maybe slightly older and less outrageous now, it's been passed over a little bit. Well, I'd take Radiohead, just because I think it's just brilliantly written music. It's just, they're so clever in the way that they write music. Well, it's 2. I was trying to think of what else now. I had a load in my head then as well, and I can't think of them. One that people probably wouldn't know because he's a folk singer, but a guy called John Martin from the he was Scottish English from the UK, but he was lost him a few years ago. But he was insane, absolutely insane, that guy. Alter Bridge, because I don't know, I just dig Alter Bridge. I just love him. Went to see him just before the pandemic kicked in, all the COVID stuff, and they were just amazing live. And Jeff Buckley, because I just think he didn't release a lot, obviously, because of his death and whatnot, but he was just insane talent, that guy. Mm-hmm. Insane.
Yeah, I like Alter Bridge as well. And talk about guitar tones. I mean, the sound of those guitars is huge.
Yeah.
And that was the way it was on Creed as well. I wasn't a crazy Creed fan, but I love their sound. The sonic presence they had was just amazing.
Yeah,
and
Monty's a great guitarist.
oh,
But
he's a phenomenal guitarist.
I think Miles Kennedy's a great guitarist. He just because he doesn't particularly play that much lead, he doesn't get that much plaudits, but that guy can play. You know.
Oh yeah.
When I went to watch him, he played a Telecaster the whole way through, like the whole way through, and it's a famous Telecaster. And I can't remember whose it is, but it was a famous person's Telecaster that he bought, and I can't remember whose it was now, but. He just literally played that all the way through, you know, and this is heavy stuff.
Yeah, you wouldn't associate a Telecaster with that. You know, it's Bruce Springsteen. Telecasters are for country, or, you know, you don't really see Telecaster being used by Kerry King, you know.
Yeah. Look, Tom Morello played a Telly a lot, you know, and, you know.
Oh, God, Telly.
Yeah. Telly's there. So, if I turned up to a Telly, these guys would never let me forget it, so I won't. But yeah, Tellys are amazing.
I got Telly at home, and it's got humbucker in it.
Oh, you don't often get that.
Yeah, I put it in myself. It looks like a single coil, but it's a humbucker.
Nice.
Yeah, I love Tellys.
Yeah, John Five. You know John Five from who was in Marilyn Manson, and he had years ago he had a signature Telly that came out, and he's got one now which is like a 3 humbucker, which is horrible. But he had one that came out with the 12-string headstock, and it had a single coil and a humbucker in the bridge. And that thing was just sick. It was just awesome, and it's ugly as sin, but it's like ugly like my dog ugly. You still want to love it, you know. So yeah, amazing. Tellys are the way forward. Even, you know, a guitar that was designed in 1950s, just.
I mean, their classic design doesn't go away, you know. And I mean, Telecaster has that tinny sound, you know, and it has for certain musical genres and styles. It's perfect, you know, country and even some jazz, or, you know, even some blues. But yeah, I've never been a Telecaster fan. It just never resonated with me, you know. But you know, that's why there's so many guitars out there, you know.
Like music, same thing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, pick the right instrument for the right sound, and or you can tweak yours like you did, Seb, and put a humbucker in and make it scream, you know. All right, another hypothetical situation here. If you could go back in time to see one classical composer conduct a piece of music, who would that composer be?
As in the classical, as in the genre?
As in the genre, right.
Oh, easy for me, Rachmaninoff. Rachmaninoff all day long. So he was just so complex in the way that he did stuff. He was just like the way that he uses piano as almost like a percussive tool as well as a harmonious tool. Is just insane. You know, so for me, that's dead simple for me. I'm easy with that one.
Excellent. Seb?
And for me, Chopin.
Nice.
Because I could have a chat with him, and the rest of them are German, so probably not.
Okay. And Kirk?
I'd pass on this one or ask a friend. I can't say I know any. Never thought about it. Never considered it. I don't know really any classical.
He's not culturally inclined as we are.
I'm amazed to say Ozzy Osbourne, to be fair.
There you go.
I'll have him, yeah.
Nice. Okay, we are heavy metal horror. So are any of you guys horror fans at all?
Love the horror.
No, Seb, too scared.
No, I am.
Okay. Well, we've had some metal guys who didn't like horror. They said, yeah, I'm a scaredy cat. So I'm like, oh, okay, you know. So for the horror guys, what are some of your favorite horror movies?
Are you going first, Seb, or me?
Go on, Seb.
Go ahead, Seb.
Go on, Seb.
For me, it's not even movies. I've found a weird passion of watching real life ghost hunters on YouTube, and that's what I'm doing. I just love that stuff, even though I'm total skeptic, and I always say, well, that's a bollocks.
Yeah, they always say, look, there's something over there, and they turn the camera and it's gone. It was just there.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see let me see some fucking video. Let me see how the ghosts show up and say, hey, I'm a ghost. you know?
or just the sounds of footsteps and stuff like that. It just
Yes.
it is just fun for me. When it comes to like movies, I do enjoy like demonic stuff, kind of like Hereditary. Was the last one I enjoyed in the cinema. I can't remember. Your usual Conjuring and maybe first Paranormal Activity. Well, only the first one.
Yeah, and they kind of get a little old. Those found footage things are cheap, you know, the way they're
Yeah.
cheap to make, you know. But no, I get that. How about you, Phil? What are some of your favorite horror films?
I like the classics. I mean, I like the first version of Pet Cemetery was awesome. You know, there's just bits in it even at the time that you were just like, oh my god! Like the first time I saw the first It by Stephen King, you know, I was a kid when I watched that, and I didn't want to shower for a month. You know, first Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street, awesome. But I liked the old sort of Army of Darkness stuff as well, if you remember them.
Oh yeah,
With the Savini and whatnot, and yeah,
Hail the King, baby.
Yeah, you know, I loved all that stuff. But I think again that I think horror movies have now moved on, and again, it's almost like music in a way. Whereas like some music seems to obviously be getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and I think films now have almost, in some ways, they've almost lost some of their art because it's about being so shocking as opposed to having like a really good, like for me, a good storyline is scarier than effects, if you know what I mean. Like,
yes.
Like if you were talking about Pet Cemetery, for example, the original one. I mean, that was just horrifying. You know, that was horrible. You know,
Right, with very few practical effects. You know, yeah. Have you seen The Witch?
No,
Or the Babadook?
Conjuring.
Those are movies that are preying a lot on the special effect, not on special effects, but on story and atmosphere. Very creepy, very moody.
See, I thought Blair Witch was brilliant for that because there wasn't really anything in that. And there wasn't really that much happening, but it scared the shit out of you at the time. You were like, oh my God, what's all this, you know? And it was I think that was the first movie really where they built up such a hype on the internet about it before it came out. They did that in such a brilliant way, I think, that it was, you know, that was groundbreaking, that, you know?
Their marketing was spectacular. I couldn't watch the movie because I can't do the shaky cam stuff. I was sitting and ready to vomit the entire movie. But the last 15 minutes were really spooky. But I could listen to it. But yeah, the marketing was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, but I've got to admit, I'm with Seb. Me and Seb talked about this at the last gig. Me and Seb have a mutual love for this, about trawling the internet for paranormal stories and stuff like that. Like, I don't really believe in it, but it's just ace. It's just like we've both properly gone down the rabbit hole with it, haven't we, Seb? We're like, me and Seb have already said at some point we are going to go to Cannock, which is a woods near us, aren't we? And we're going to go and have a look at that place at night because it's supposed to be ridiculously haunted and stuff. But yeah, so yeah, I think we're getting a bit geeky about this now. But yeah, it's got to happen, hasn't it, mate? Simple as that.
And Kirk, you a horror fan?
I am. I can't say I've watched any for a while. I think the ones what really are memorable was when Nightmare on Elm Street came out. I think the storyline behind that, as you're going to get killed when you go to sleep, was kind of terrifying at the time, and like that was different. And then movies like The Ring and the real kind of making you jump type stuff, that's really spooky. While I'm on, have you guys seen that demo on the PlayStation called PT? It's like this. It's a demo of a horror game when the PlayStation 4 came out, and they were basically saying, this is what we can do with horror games. And it's the most terrifying experience you'll ever have. If you ever get to see that PT, it's a demo. I think they banned it now, but it's absolutely insane. So
well, now I gotta look for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had nightmares for at least 2 weeks, so give me something to look forward to. Another reason to have insomnia.
I know me and Montag's favorite, well, scariest horror film is The Exorcist. Like even we watched it together, it's like, I don't need to leave your place just yet, do I?
Yeah.
It's so unnerving. Just minimal music, fantastic story, and wow, that's just a creep fest of a movie.
See, that's it. I think a lot of it is in the music. Like if you think about Jaws, 2 notes, and that was it, you know.
Yep.
And it's the way I had a weirdly impromptu chat once with a really well-known composer, a guy called Philip Glass. He did The Pianist, music to The Pianist. Weirdly, we were just chatting about film scores, and he asked me which ones I liked. So I mentioned Last of the Mohicans and The Pianist. And he went, "Oh, thanks." That was it, you know. And he walked off. And I was like, "Who's that?" And my girlfriend at the time said, "What are you talking to Philip Glass for?" I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." But we ended up having a chat about it, and he was just saying, "Yeah, it's actually really difficult to put music that encapsulates a moment, you know,
Yeah.
which is, you know, I guess what songwriting is. You know, it's how do you feel in that moment. But this is to try to capture a cinema to go, or a theatre in your case to go, you know, and it's, you know, or cry or laugh or whatever, you know, whatever it happens to be. So yeah, I think music is a massive part for it.
I was a little whipper when Jaws came out, and I remember that when I'm taking a shower inside, looking down, and it said Jaws is going to come out and get me. And I'm thinking, it was so ridiculous. Or I don't think I swam in a swimming pool or on a beach for like 2 years after I first saw that. It scared the shit out of me. So
I was like that with it. Just down the plug hole. Not a chance. Not happening.
Yeah.
It comes up to the toilet, ChopTop. So just be careful.
Boy.
Yeah, no, I think music and horror movies, the scores are really important. The music, when you think of The Thing and Morricone's Enrico Morricone's music score is so Spartan and sparse, but it's so effective. And then it moves us emotionally. You know, that's the thing about a good horror movie, a good story. It affects us at an emotional level, just like good music does. You know, so they really are kind of parallel in my book. All right, let's talk a little bit. We're going to do some series of what we call these one-off questions. Just kind of, we could be random, it could be about anything. So we had just talked about movies other than horror movies. What is your favorite movie of all time?
For me, it's The Matrix.
Matrix.
Absolutely love them.
All right, excellent. That's a good movie. Seb.
Star Wars.
Excellent. Episode 4, the first one.
Yeah.
The original, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I get it, man. It's definitely up there for me. Phil.
Favorite movie. Wow, that is a real tough one. I think I'm going to go with a bit of a current one. Actually, I really like Into the Wild.
Yeah.
So that was a good movie. It had a good message in that. So I like that one.
Nice. Who's your favorite cartoon character?
Jessica Rabbit. All day long. Come on. Next.
Excellent. She's not bad. She's just drawn that way.
Yeah.
Seb, favorite cartoon character?
Oh God, Bugs Bunny.
Excellent.
That's from childhood. Yeah.
Those are important memories. Kirk.
Homer Simpson.
Fantastic. Those are great.
What? I'm going to change mine if that's right. To Marvin the Martian.
Oh, okay.
Very
Okay.
underrated.
Another classic.
Very underrated. Cartoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, at least Chop and I can share Jessica, so we got that. That's
Yeah.
got my date plans for the weekend. That's excellent.
Yeah. I got a date.
Always more fun than Frida.
What one song do you wish you'd had written and recorded instead of the group who did?
Sober by Tool.
It's a good song, to be fair. That's a good song.
Thanks.
Indifference by Pearl Jam. That's
From
mine.
me, it's probably, Wonderwall by Oasis.
What?
Yeah, I think when I hear,
My internet is really low.
I just think
And the
hey,
band breaks up.
when he wrote that song, did he like think this is going to be the biggest hit ever? And did he know? I find that quite amazing. It's such a simple song, and yeah, I'm going with that.
You could have said
Sure, I
nothing
can
else
respect
matters.
Oh,
I'm not sure I can respect you anymore now. By the way, if our next single is a metal version of that, that's it. We're in trouble.
I've explained my reasoning.
Excellent. See, I like that. This is how we know you guys get along so well, because you can bust each other's balls. You know, that's love. That's love for you. Okay, which non-music celebrity would you most like to have a drink with?
Not Amber Heard.
Yeah, yeah, she's gonna be giving you a shitty time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, wow. Non-musical.
Yeah.
David Attenborough.
Oh yeah, great, good choice.
Yeah.
Seb?
For me, it would be Scarlett Johansson or Johansson, however you want to pronounce that.
Do you want her to wear the Black Widow costume or just show up?
Just show up and I'll be thankful.
All right.
So cliche. So cliche.
Okay. And Kirk.
I'll go with Angelina Jolie. Probably the same reason as Seb picked the other one.
Do you want her wearing the Tomb Raider uniform or?
Yeah, we'll go Tomb Raider.
Okay. No, that's good, man.
Guns.
All right. I like that. And the last one, do any of you have any hobbies other than music? Do you have any hobbies that you can share with us?
That you can share with us.
Yes. We don't want to know about the things that are going to get you in trouble. You know, Interpol might be listening. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I paint. I like painting. I don't get much chance to do it at the minute, but I like painting. So, I art, not walls. So,
Okay, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Seb, Kirk, any hobbies?
I think music has taken over quite a lot of my time lately. Playing another band as well, so that's 2 bands, rehearsing and all that. But I used to do quite a lot of sports, bit of football, bit of boxing. I'd love to get back to it. Martial arts was always, when I was younger, was always a big thing for me. So yeah, I'd say martial arts.
So if any aggressive fans jump on stage, you know, you can take them down, you know, if they get a little too touchy.
Just Coca gets his job with his cricket bat.
There you go.
On
Nice.
the guitar.
There you go. Excellent. You can build a big hammer-shaped guitar.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, like Thor. You could swing it
With
around.
spikes.
Plug them in the gut. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
to be fair, this is pretty pointy. To be fair, this would make quite a good spear as well. I think so.
Oh yeah.
You're all right with that one.
Very nice. Kirk, any hobbies?
Like Seb said, I think music pretty dominates my life, really. I play the odd computer game when I get a chance. I kind of hate watching the telly anymore. Really gone off watching telly. It's all music for me. If the telly's on, Halo or something's on. So a bit of gaming, but 95% music.
Excellent. All right. We're going to play some games. This game is called Blast Beats. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you all to answer. We just don't think about it, just answer quick as possible. It's usually a multiple choice or a simple short answer. I want you all just to kind of give me your answer quickly. We're just going to run through these quickly. It's why it's called Blast Beats. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hot dog or hamburger?
Hamburger.
Favorite pizza topping?
Pepperoni.
Spicy veg.
Sausage.
PC or Apple?
I didn't catch that.
PC or Apple? Linux.
Hey,
I didn't get that one.
PC or Apple?
PC or Apple?
Oh,
Apple
PC.
at the moment.
PC, actually.
Okay. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate.
Strawberry.
Vanilla.
It's Neapolitan right there. You guys see? You guys all work together. Dog or cat?
Dog.
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 Marvel or DC?
Neither. Oh, neither. Terrible.
DC.
Marvel.
Get the hell out. Neither. Get out.
I'll
No,
be
that's
honest.
fine. DC. Okay. Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
Ooh. Star Trek.
Okay. Bigfoot or Loch Ness Monster?
Bigfoot.
Loch Ness Monster.
Bigfoot. All day long. It's the only one that could actually physically survive. We'll talk about this next time we see you.
Yeah. I was
Simon.
invited to Scotland with some friends. I'm going to go see Nessie. Now we might have in our lake. We live near Lake Erie. We might have another monster in there too, named Lemmy, Lake Erie monster. So I'm hoping. Yeah.
Forrest Galante did a thing on this recently, didn't he? Have you seen that?
Well, there's one on Lemmy, and also there's Lake Champlain has Champ. So some of these deep bodies of water, it's either great marketing or some of these dinosaurs have managed to live. So we'll see.
Marketing.
Good marketing, I know. All right, Dracula or Frankenstein?
Dracula.
Dracula.
How do you like your steak cooked?
Medium rare.
Medium rare.
Your favorite movie snack?
Popcorn.
Sweet popcorn.
Chocolate.
Salted popcorn.
Chocolate.
All right, your favorite board game?
Monopoly.
Hate them all. They're made for people to hate each other.
There you go.
Okay.
Excellent. Spielberg or Tarantino?
Spielberg.
Tarantino.
All right, your favorite Christmas gift?
Given? As in received?
Given or received,
Oh,
rather. Yeah, favorite Christmas gift that you've received?
Anything that my little boy's got me. Anything.
I got my Marshall guitar amp, so that was pretty neat.
All right, and last one of the blast beats. Your favorite scene from This Is Spinal Tap?
It goes up to your head. Niche guitarist. Nothing else, isn't it?
Was there a guy with the dog watching the band? Is that film?
I think so, yeah.
That bit then.
All
One
right.
of the shows.
You guys ever get a chance to come over to Cleveland area and go, hello, Cleveland? You know, you can do that.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
exactly. Right. Which when I saw Spinal Tap, when they played Cleveland, they did, he comes out, hello, Cleveland. I'm like, oh, the place just erupted. Best thing about Cleveland, Spinal Tap. Okay, this game is called The Hot Seat. I'm going to name a band, and I want you to tell me your favorite album by that band. This tends to make people squirm a little bit sometimes, but here we're going to throw it out to you. All right, Black Sabbath.
I'd go with Soul, but that's cheating because it's a bit of a compilation.
You can't say best of, mate. You can't say that.
It doesn't go best of, is it?
Paranoid
It's an album.
Paranoid was the name of that album, right? Paranoid was the name of the first album.
Black Sabbath was the first album. Paranoid was the second.
Oh, so yeah, Paranoid.
It came out in the same year, though.
Yeah.
Back
They
when
did that
bands
a
put
lot
out
back
2
in the
albums a year.
70s.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Kiss used to do. Every 9 months, they were putting out a record.
Kiss
Some
are
of them-
one of the most underrated bands in the world. A bunch of Jewish guys who weren't allowed to play music went, do you know what? We'll go in disguise, and then we'll write songs about penises. Brilliant, amazing.
I know. It's fantastic. Right.
Right.
All right.
Brilliant.
Next one on the hot seat, Judas Priest.
I don't like Judas Priest. Sorry, I'm sorry. I know. I couldn't tell you a single Judas Priest album. I know Breaking the Law, and that's it.
There you go. It's a song. You're there. You got a song down. That's not bad.
What was the other one? Turbo Lover. Was it Turbo Lover?
Oh, Turbo. Yeah. Okay.
I won't go
Se-
there.
Seb,
Is Living After Midnight a song or an album?
that's a song. That's a song. Yeah, I think it's on Sad Wings of Destiny, or no, Point of Entry.
Right.
Which one, Chop? Is that Point of Entry?
I think point of entry.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. The Beatles. Come on now, guys. Your home band. You got to know this one.
Not mine.
Not yours, Seb. That's right. You're a transplant.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be really outraged here. I hate the Beatles. My old man is a massive Beatles fan, and I had it all the time. So I like Mr. Bulldog, the song, and I think the White Album, to be fair, there was going to be one, probably the one, but no, I'm not a Beatles fan at all. I think they were the first band with really good PR, and that's how they got so big for me. Sorry. I'll leave.
Apologies for it. It's okay, man.
Some good songs. I'm the Walrus. A good song.
That's a good song.
Other album.
Okay, here's a band that maybe we'll see now. Rush. Any of you like Rush?
Oh, yeah.
Terrible with albums.
Spirit of the Radio. What a song. What a song. Yeah,
Great
Spirit of
song.
the Radio. Alex Lifeson's a god.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him on the show. I am desperately trying to get him on the show. I'll just cry. Yeah, Rush is my favorite band, and Neil Peart was always my hero.
Best drummer of all time.
Yeah, I played along to Moving Pictures. That's how I taught myself how to play. And so that'll be my crying episode. You know, and Alex Lifeson shows up on that screen, I'll just start like bawling. You know,
Yeah, Montag will be curled up in a corner. You won't even be able
yeah,
to
I know.
him.
I'll be
He's
missing him.
just
Like,
whining
no,
and
I missed Alex. So, Alex, if you're out
Yeah.
there, come on, dude. Heavy Metal Horror wants you. Okay, well, maybe okay, here's one. Okay, I know Kirk's gonna know this one. Iron Maiden, another great British metal band. You gotta know something about this, guys.
Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, the album.
Nice.
What an album.
That's
What
fantastic.
an album.
Yeah,
First metal album I ever heard. That. Still love it to this day.
fantastic. And live, oh my god, it gives you chills. They have.
I saw him at Donington in 1991, I think. Insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah, amazing. Maiden.
All right, Kirk. I know you're a metal guy.
Number the Beast, probably for me, I think.
There you go.
I'll be
choice.
my name. Oh, what a song.
Yeah, what a
Yeah.
song.
Excellent. Seb?
I was gonna go with the same as Kirk.
Nice. All right. How about Testament? I figure Kirk knows you're into heavy rock, heavy metal.
I like all the first three. I think Practice What You Preach, probably, because he had some slow songs which were just amazing. So I think that was a bit of a turning point for him. But
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Practice What You Preach. I think that was. I think that's what, because Alex Skolnick's gone over to jazz quite a lot, hasn't he? And he's had like a good sort of little turn to jazz. And I think that album, you can definitely hear some influence coming through that. You can hear his playing turning a little bit. So he brought something a little bit different to that. And I thought, yeah, wicked. It's a good album.
Mm-hmm. Great choice.
Excellent. Okay, we're going to do two more. Slayer.
Rain and Blood.
There you go.
Great. Raining Blood. Yeah.
I'm gonna pass. So,
Oh,
I
I
can see,
actually went.
I can
I
see
went to-
Kirk's disgust already, shaking his
Oh,
head
yeah.
at you.
I went to a festival about 7 years ago, and Slayer was the only band where I fallen asleep. So sorry, Slayer fans.
That's like getting that's like falling asleep when someone's bludgeoning you about the head, you know, with a big iron bar.
Well, you know, Phil and Kirk, you're welcome to come back to the show. So, it's nice meeting you. No, kidding, man.
I get, man, we like what we like. You know, I can't imagine falling asleep at a Slayer show. I think you get trampled to death, but you know. Okay, and the last one, as Phil had mentioned earlier, it's one of the most underrated bands of all time. Kiss. Favorite Kiss album.
Oh, what's the one with Love Gun on it? I can't remember the name of that album.
It's called Love Gun.
Yeah. In that case, that album.
Love
That's
Gun.
a wicked
There you go.
album. That's
Yeah.
an amazing album. Yeah.
It's a good album.
I'm
I do it.
going to say that they're the most overrated band I've ever seen in my life. I think they're goddamn awful. They're awful.
Yeah, if Dreadbull were here, he also does not like the Beatles, and he really does not like Kiss. So he would be loving this moment. because I grew up loving Kiss and wanting to be Gene Simmons. You know, that kind of propelled me into wanting to be, into music. I just wanted to stick my tongue out and spit blood and wear dragon armor. You know, wasn't until I got a little older that I realized, oh, there are benefits to having an agile tongue being in a band. I get it now. Thank you, Gene Simmons.
I mean, have you seen those guys without makeup?
Yeah.
How many girls that and I'm in a relationship, I'm a happy guy, I'm all right, but how many girls that makeup and that music has got those guys looking the way that they look? That is the power of music.
I don't know.
Not power of art
It
music,
is,
it's like
right. Music is very powerful. That's true. Yeah, we got a lot of ugly people in metal. I'm not going to name any names, but yeah, that's an interesting point. All right. This game, this is our last game we're going to play. This is called Name That Festival. Exit Out is playing a festival with 2 other bands. I'm going to spin the wheel of mystery to find these other 2 bands. Then I want you guys to name the festival that you're all playing at. All right, so I'm going to share my screen.
Does it have to be a real festival or just?
We're making it all up. Yeah,
okay,
we're making it
yeah.
up. So we're gonna find what 2 other artists
Oh my God, that's small.
you are
Right.
sharing with. So here we go. Here's the first one. Which artist is going to be sharing the stage with Exit Out? And it is Rod Stewart. Oh, very nice. Very nice. So Rod Stewart, and who could it be? Could be anybody. Oh, it looks like Thomas Dolby. Missed Dead Kennedys by that much. Thomas Dolby and Rod Stewart
And
and Exit Out are playing a festival together. What is the name of that festival?
It's going to have to be Glastonbury, isn't it? Because that's the only place that they'd have to get him on as a legend, when he's not really, is he? But yeah. So it'd have to be Glastonbury, wouldn't it? But
You can name the festival anything you want. That's the
all
point
right,
of the game.
okay.
Right, you name the festival. What festival are you going to call? The 3 of you guys are playing. What are you going to call that festival?
Rose in Between Two Thorns Festival.
Nice. Which one's the rose? Very nice. Very nice. I like it. I like that. Okay, good. We're all fans of other groups and other artists. Do any of you have like a favorite piece of memorabilia?
Yeah, I do actually. One sec. I see mine. So this is one of the original prints of a piece of artwork from Indifference.
Very cool.
So yeah, so there was only, I think it was 50 prints of that. So yeah, that's mine. And I also have Indifference tattooed on my chest. So yeah, that's mine.
All right, Seb, any pieces of memorabilia? Favorite?
No, not really. I do have the stage thingy that you get from that gig I mentioned when I sang for that many people.
That's pretty good.
Kept that, but other than that, I don't know. No.
That's a memorable show. You don't want to forget that one. How about you, Kirk?
I think Silver Sun pickups. I think you guys would have heard of them over there. Not so big over here, but we luckily got to see them in Birmingham. A really, really intimate show. And I got a drumstick and it was signed on the night with the date and everything on. That's just a special thing for me. I think it was a really big thing for me to see that band. I wanted to see them for many, many years, and then was there with like 30 other people. It was great.
So final questions. I know you had mentioned that you guys are working on a new album, which is cool. So what other plans do you have for the rest of this year? You got the new album coming out, new music. Are you planning a tour, doing something else? What else do you have going on?
We've only got 2 gigs booked at the moment. One in Dudley and one in Whitchurch. That's all we got planned at the moment. hopefully there'll be a few more added to that towards the end of the year. The album, again, hopefully out this year. We'll probably have a single, and it's probably going to be a song called Stay Away. Very Nirvana-y tone to it. It's nearly done. We just got to put the drums down, which is being done on the 7th of June. And that'll probably be a single on Spotify, and we'll get that out everywhere and follow it up with the album later in the year.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get to download next year if we can. Maybe Woodstock, aren't we? We're gonna make a push for that. Yeah, so I'm trying to sort out some gigs at the minute with a friend of mine. Has just put together a new band. He's a really talented guy. They're called Six Letter Band, and we're going to try to get some gigs put together with them. They're a little bit more, I guess, almost a little bit more new metal really than anything else. But yeah, Marcus is really, really talented guy. So that I think we'll try and get that on there. But we're just going to get as many gigs in and sort of just hone our craft to think of it this year, aren't we? As a 4-piece, because obviously I'm still relatively new. I think we're going to try and get that as tight as we can and get that order and get the new songs into the set. So we've got a longer set so we can play full gigs. And then I think next year I think Kirk will probably agree with that. We're going to try and sort of push to be actually the headline band in some gigs, and whatnot, and try and push ourselves forward that way, right?
That's great.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's, everyone starts, and that's how you do it, man. The more music you get out, and I'm not sure what the scene is like in England as far as hearing original music, but there are a lot of small clubs where we live in Ohio, Northern Ohio, that often have bands playing live original music, and that's exciting. I mean, cover bands are a dozen around here too. Nothing wrong with that. People like to go out and hear live music. They want to hear songs they know. But I like going out and hearing a band do original music. Is that kind of like the scene that you guys are finding as well? In the UK, are there a lot of clubs that prefer to hear original music, or do they prefer covers?
Do you want me to get this one, Kirk? Because obviously I'm on both sides of the fence on this, aren't I? So when I play in the covers band, it's so easy to get gigs, right? It's so easy to get gigs. But what happened in England a few years back is, like, there's a big pub culture, obviously, in the UK, and it's where a lot of the live music goes on. And because a lot of UK landlords are tight, by tight I mean they don't like spending cash. They want everything for free. They ended up sort of hiring one man and an iPad type acts and calling that a gig. And I hate this. It's like, that's just the death of live music for me. That's just karaoke, So weirdly, I think for us, and certainly the gigs that I played with Exit Out, it's tended to be larger venues actually, where we've played where we played the original stuff, and I've played smaller venues in the covers bands, but it's been easier to get those gigs. And to be fair, Kirk does, like, I'm going to try and help Kirk out with the obtaining of gigs at some point, because Kirk does it all at the minute, which is fair play to him. But I think I'm right in saying that it's probably a lot harder to get a gig as an originals band, and to get paid for it, no chance. No chance, unless you're bringing over, like Vampires Everywhere when we supported them, or Unto Others. Unless you're bringing people in, there's no chance you're going to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worth mentioning we are a bit up north as well. It might be a bit easier in London, from what I've heard. It's a bit easier for original bands to get paid gigs, but it's not about money. It's about having fun. And I hope we're gonna get a bit more gigs. We are working on using that connection of me being from Poland, so we can try and look for gigs in there, to a weekend out or something like that. So yeah, that's all to come.
Yeah, I'd be happy with a trip to Poland for a weekend. I'd be good with that. I'd be happy with that.
Yes, that's a cool concept. You know, for us in the States, having Europe next to you and all these countries that you can just drive and hit. Bop, 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 bop. That's really fascinating. That's kind of awesome. You know, we have to, although Canada's close, Mexico's pretty far away, but I guess it's like if you were coming over to the States, it'd be like going to different states. You
Yeah,
know?
I was
That's
just about to-
kind of the mentality of the kind of the idea of it. You know,
I mean, the thing is I think sometimes guys from America don't realize how small England actually is. Like England actually fits into Texas 8 times.
Oh my gosh! Wow. I learned
So
something.
yeah, it's tiny. You know, it's what from top to bottom, it's 450 miles. That's it. You know, so it's nothing really. But yeah, you know, I think now that the problem that we've kind of had with touring and things like that is, well, a lot of bands have had with touring is because of Brexit as well. You know, because there's been so much, I suppose, ambiguity about what you can and can't do as a band and about visas and that type of thing. So it's been really tough. Like I've got mates who tour and it's been a nightmare for them, you know, and they've lost out on some really serious money because they couldn't tour, you know.
and every
simple as that.
country has got
So,
different rules, and they keep on changing as things happen with COVID. It's just,
Yeah.
it's hard. The situation's fluid, and it's really hard. You know, I can imagine how difficult it must be to have any kind of sense of stability and planning what's going on.
yeah, I mean, you had the same. I mean, you had sort of like counties like, sorry, you had like states like Georgia, which was just pretty much open all the time, wasn't it? And then, you know, you went into the next state and it was shut, and you know, and so yours was, you know, you had 50 of them, you know,
Right.
so, you know, but yeah, it's that. I mean, that's been a little bit difficult, and I think at first people were so excited to get out and see a live band again that it was like, I mean, I did my first show back with my other band, and we had 200 tickets for sale, and we sold them within 2 days. You know, they just went. That was it. You know, it was so easy, and then it teetered off, I think, and people were, okay, well, that, you know, that's out of the way, so we don't need to do that anymore. And I think it's still sort of trying to recover again. And I know that I've done gigs with my other band, which, you know, we do get paid for and whatnot. You know, we get paid a relatively decent amount, and we've done gigs for less just to help venues get back on feet a bit. You know.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, there's a venue near me which is called Grumpy Bastards Motorcycle Club, which is in fact, Kurt came to watch me play last time I played there, and it's an awesome venue. It's like it's like a motorbike shop during the day, like a workshop, and then they get everything's cool, and like venues like that should be preserved, you know. Whereas I'm not bothered about, you know, restaurants, you know, or pubs that have got a restaurant in and stuff. I'm not bothered about stuff like that, but proper music venues, like, you know, like I suppose like Percy's Cafe Kirk and stuff like that. You know, they're the ones that want to be preserved, aren't they? You know, because they care about it.
Yeah, I hope things get better, you know, for all of us, and that we can all enjoy doing what we love and either playing out, going to see bands, you know, especially when you have a new album coming out and working on new music, you want to go out and play it. And it's exciting to have new music, especially if people come to see you and they like you. Hearing new songs, that's exciting for them as well. Being able to buy a record from a band you like, nothing better than that, you know, having more music from those bands. So no, I totally get it. So guys, I want to thank you for showing up and for spending some time with us, and I hope you had a good time. I hope that was entertaining. It was our first multiple, you know, panel interview,
Yeah,
but
busted our
I hope
cherry
it
on
was,
this one. Thanks.
yeah. But I hope you guys had a good time.
I enjoyed it a lot, so it was a blast. Thank you.
Oh, our pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Our pleasure.
Yeah. Would it be too much to ask you to do a bumper? You know, you could introduce yourselves of Exit. You know, this is Phil Kirk and Seb of Exit Out, and you're watching heavy metal horror, something like that. Would that be cool?
Yeah.
Phil?
All right. I'll let you. I'll let you do whenever you're ready.
Phil?
Am I doing it first? Am I? Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Right. Okay. This is Phil from Exit Out, and you're watching Heavy Metal Horror. There you go. That's the best I can do.
Seb, Kirk, did you guys want to join in that and all do it together, or are you cool with Phil doing it?
Do we do it together?
We can do Phil, Seb, and Kirk. Or you want to do it that way? I mean, we're cool with that one. So, however you want to do it. I mean, we're fine.
Are we doing it together?
Let's do it together, boys.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll do
All right.
Phil, then Seb, then Kirk. Introduce yourselves. This is Phil. This is Seb. This is Kirk.
Yeah.
And I'll exit out, and then you can all say, "And you're watching Heavy Metal Horror."
Got it.
All right.
This is Phil.
This is Seb.
And this is Kirk.
We're Exit Out, and you're watching Heavy Metal Horror.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to do our commercial, and we're going to get out of here. And when we do our outro, we're going to invite you to bring up the horns and join us. You can find Heavy Metal Horror on unsaneradio.com, listen to full episodes, or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. On our YouTube page, which is, if you're watching, that's where you're at, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you, we're now on Roku, Hotel Metal Jam. And if you know someone who'd like our show, tell them about us. This has been Montag, Master of Illusion.
ChopTop.
And the guys from Exit Out. And you've been watching and listening to, all right, guys, bring up the horns.
Well,
Heavy
happy.
Metal
Metal
Horror.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.